and the Forest of Secret Worlds. On a crisp autumn morning, as the first rays of sunlight peeked through the branches, a young girl named Ella wandered through the forest near her home. She loved exploring the woods, especially in the fall, when the leaves turned golden and orange, and the air smelled of earth and adventure. Today, Ella had decided to explore a part of the forest she had never visited before, a place her grandmother had once called the Forest of Secrets. As Ella walked deeper into the forest, she noticed something glimmering in the underbrush. She knelt down and uncovered a small, ornate key, its surface decorated with tiny symbols that seemed to glow in the sunlight. Ella turned the key over in her hands, feeling a strange warmth emanate from it. She knew it was something special, something magical. Suddenly, the key seemed to pull her forward, leading her to a massive oak tree with a knotted trunk and a door carved into its bark. The door was small, barely visible, but when Ella held the key close, it glowed brighter, illuminating the doorway. Ella took a deep breath, her heart pounding with excitement, and inserted the key into the lock. The door swung open with a gentle creak, revealing a shimmering portal. Without hesitation, Ella stepped through the doorway and found herself in a completely different world. She stood on a floating island, suspended high above a sparkling blue ocean. The sky was a deep shade of violet, and colourful birds flew above her, their feathers shimmering like jewels. Ella gasped in awe, her eyes wide with wonder. "Welcome, traveller!" came a voice from above. Ella looked up to see a large raven perched on a nearby branch, its feathers as black as night, and its eyes sharp and wise. "I am Corvus," the raven said, bowing its head slightly. "You have found the key to the Forest of Secret Worlds. But I must warn you, there are many doorways, and each leads to a different world, some beautiful, some dangerous. And right now, the balance between these worlds is in great danger." Ella listened carefully, her heart pounding with both fear and excitement. She had always dreamed of going on an adventure, and now it seemed like she had the chance to help. "What must I do?" she asked. Corvus fluttered down from the branch, landing gracefully on the ground beside her. "We must find 3 enchanted items that keep the balance between the worlds," he said. "They have been scattered across different realms, and without them, the magic that connects the worlds will fade away." Ella nodded, determined. "I'll help you," she said, her voice strong. "Where do we start?" Corvus spread his wings and gestured towards a shimmering pathway that led to another floating island. "The first item is the Crystal of Light," he said. "It is hidden in the garden of floating blossoms, guarded by a mischievous pixie named Lila. She loves riddles, so be prepared to solve one if you wish to retrieve the crystal." Ella followed Corvus along the glowing pathway, the breeze ruffling her hair as they moved from one floating island to the next. They soon arrived at a beautiful garden filled with flowers that floated gently in the air, their petals glowing softly. At the center of the garden sat a tiny pixie with wings that sparkled like diamonds. "Hello there," the pixie called, her eyes twinkling with mischief. "I am Lila, and if you wish to take the Crystal of Light, you'll have to solve my riddle." Ella stepped forward, her eyes meeting Lila's. "I'm ready," she said, her voice full of confidence. Lila grinned and began to recite her riddle. "I am not alive, but I grow. I do not have lungs, but I need air. I do not have a mouth, but water kills me. What am I?" Ella thought for a moment, her brow furrowed. She looked around the garden, her eyes taking in the floating flowers, the shimmering light, and the gentle breeze. Suddenly she smiled. "Fire," she said. "The answer is fire." Lila clapped her hands, her wings fluttering excitedly. "Correct," she said, and with a wave of her hand, a crystal appeared, glowing brightly in the air. "Take it, brave traveler, and may it guide you on your journey." Ella took the crystal, feeling its warmth spread through her fingers. She thanked Lila, and together with Corvus, continued on their journey. Their next destination was a dense forest filled with towering trees, each one with a door carved into its trunk. Corvus led Ella to a particularly large tree, its door decorated with intricate carvings of stars and moons. "The second item we seek is the moonstone," Corvus said. "It is guarded by a gentle giant named Thorn, who lives deep within this forest." Ella opened the door and stepped through, finding herself in a clearing surrounded by trees that seemed to touch the sky. At the center of the clearing stood Thorn, a giant with kind eyes and a gentle smile. He knelt down to look at Ella, his voice rumbling like distant thunder. "I know why you are here, little one," he said. "The moonstone is yours, but first you must show me your kindness." Ella thought for a moment, then noticed a small bird on the ground, its wing bent at an odd angle. She knelt down, carefully picking up the bird, and brought it to Thorn. "Can you help it?" she asked, her eyes filled with concern. Thorn smiled, his eyes softening. "You have a kind heart," he said, gently touching the bird with his finger. The bird's wing healed instantly, and it chirped happily before flying away. Thorn reached into his pocket and pulled out a glowing moonstone, placing it in Ella's hands. "May this stone light your path," he said. With the moonstone in hand, Ella and Corvus made their way to the final doorway, which led to a world of floating lanterns and shimmering waterfalls. The air was filled with the sound of gentle music, and at the center of it all was a fountain, its waters glowing with a soft golden light. "The final item is the golden feather," Corvus said. "It is hidden within the fountain of echoes, and only one with true courage can retrieve it." Ella approached the fountain, her heart pounding. She could see the feather resting at the bottom, its golden glow illuminating the water. Taking a deep breath, she reached into the fountain, the cool water swirling around her arm. As she touched the feather, a wave of warmth spread through her, and she knew she had succeeded. With all three items in hand, Ella and Corvus returned to the oak tree, where they placed the crystal of light, the moonstone, and the golden feather into 3 small indentations on the tree's trunk. The tree began to glow, its branches spreading wide as a soft light filled the forest. "You have restored the balance, brave traveler," Corvus said, his voice filled with gratitude. "The worlds are once again connected, and the magic will continue to flow." Ella smiled, her heart full of pride and joy. She had always dreamed of going on an adventure, and now she had helped save not just one world, but many. Corvus bowed his head to her. "You are always welcome in the forest of secret worlds, Ella. Any time you wish to explore, the key will be waiting." With a final wave to her new friends, Ella stepped back through the doorway, finding herself once again in the familiar forest near her home. She looked down at the key in her hand, its surface still glowing softly, and knew that this was only the beginning of her adventures. The end.